welcome to Throwback Thursdays, where I take a look at a 90s film, or movie, whatever you want to call it, and give it a review. And this week, we are talking about the 1999 creature feature horror film, Bats, starring Lou Diamond Phillips, Dina Meyer, and is directed by Louis Morneau. That's the name, I don't know. So, a little background with this movie. I actually saw this movie back, and it gotta be the early 2000s, 2000 at least. We used to have family movie nights, and we'd pick out, movies and stuff, and we picked this out on VHS, and we watched it, and you know what? I couldn't remember much. But it's weird. It's one of those movies where you've seen it before, and you can't remember anything. Once it starts, you start to remember, hey, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this is familiar. So, the story is that bats have been accidentally, genetically modified to be these bats, which are normally, what is the word? They normally eat fruits and vegetables and stuff. They're not carnivorous or anything. Have been turned omnivorous by an experiment. Basically like us now, but they're rabid. Basically. It cannot be passed to humans, this virus, but it does cause them to freak out. So because this happens, Dr. Toby Hodge sends for, played by Carlos Jacquot, whatever, sends for Dr. Sheila Casper, played by Dina Meyer, and her assistant, Jimmy Sands, played by Leon. And they are joined by Sheriff Emmett Kimsey, played by Lou Diamond Phillips, and they are tasked to try to figure out what's going on. Also, there is Dr. Alexander McCabe, played by Bob Gunton. Now, Bob Gunton, you may recognize from, Lou Diamond Phillips, him. Dina Meyer, Starship Troopers, Saw. Carlos Jacquot, he was an Angel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Bob Gunton, though, you might recognize as the villain, Gokdo, from Demolition Man. So, can you already see the twist? So, yeah, there's a bit of a twist, but it's not really a twist, but it's sort of a twist. So McCabe tells them, that's Gooden's character, tells them that he was experimenting with a couple of bats from a different region, and he injected them with some kind of experiment, and they ended up infecting the other bats within this town. And so now these bats have gone on a feeding frenzy of sorts. They attack every night, attacking innocent people, and so Dr. Casper is brought in to help stop it. She doesn't think she can, but she uses her resources. She's a bat doctor, basically. She's a bat scientist, if you want to call her that. And of course, the sheriff gets in on it too. I really enjoyed this movie, to be honest. I was sitting here watching this, and I was making breakfast while it was on too. And as soon as it started, I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can get into this. And as it kept going a little bit, I'm like, I sort of remember this. And as it got going, I realized this is kind of close to another creature feature horror film that has a little more comedy inserted to it, and that's Eight-Legged Freaks. However, this is taken more seriously than Eight-Legged Freaks did. This is a very serious situation. They even try to make it so that it's a very kind of contained thing. Like, there's this virus that infects the bats, but it only infects the bats. It doesn't infect humans. The bats are just killing humans. They're not infecting them, not turning into vampire zombie things. You know, nothing crazy like that. The only thing that gets a little bit hokey is the reveal that Dr. McCabe did this on purpose to, what else? Take over the world. Of course! But, because he says he can control them. So he goes outside and he beckons the bats to him and they kill his ass. Yep, he's like, come to me! They're like, okay. Dead. Dead. There was one scene I kind of clapped a little bit. I don't know what clapped meant. I was just kind of like, hey. You know that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio watching TV and he goes, it was that. Because, like, there's a scene where the bats are terrorizing this town. And I happen to notice that on the theater marquee, it says now playing Nosferatu. Clever. Put a vampire movie on the theater marquee. There's a way to tie into this. Although you think at this point it would be Bram Stoker's Dracula, Nosferatu, who knows? I think there's good characters in this film, and I think they work. One character, though, I got a little, because I didn't realize he died till after the fact, is that of Toby Hodge, played by Carlos Jacot. He sacrifices himself to save to save Sheila, and she's needed to save the day, of course. They hook up this whole setup in this school or whatever, where they hook up like barbed wire and hook like jumper cables to it, so there's electrified, so the bats can't get in, and that's pretty cool. But then that's when like McCabe does this thing, come to me, and he's dead. But he thinks he can control them. He explains that it was an accident, but it wasn't an accident. Oh. Serious deja vu vibes. But explains that he says it's an accident. He claims it's an accident, but it's not. Of course, we find out he did this on purpose, because he thinks he can control them, which he can't. So they come down to their final decision that, like, how can they stop it? They gotta get to the roost. There's one scene that made me kind of go, oh shit, and that's so. And they're in like the first not big fight, but one of the bats gets stuck underneath the tire of the truck that they're driving. And so they tried to use that bat, and they put a tracker on it so they can find the roost. However, bats must be clever, because they two bats come along and tear this one apart before it even gets anywhere. Which, yeah, you could say is a little bullshit. Like, how would they already know? Another thing that I call bullshit on was that, like, there's a scene where they're sitting in the town, and Casper's like, hold on, shh. Echolocation. I can hear it. I'm like, bullshit! Humans can't hear no echolocation. I don't care how much of an expert you are at bats, you cannot hear echolocation. Human ears cannot hear, the bare human ears cannot hear echolocation without some kind of apparatus. You can't just hear it with your bare ears, okay? It doesn't work that way. You know? And she's like, I can hear them. They're coming. Like, bullshit, you can hear them. That gotta be in all this movie. That's the most ridiculous thing in this film, is that she can hear the echolocation. So they decide they have to do something, and the military comes along, and they, what else? Say they're just gonna blow the fuck out of it, and of course, you know, scientists, they say you can't do that because they'll spread, but the military doesn't listen because it's the military, and I think they're right. I was just talking about this in the Alien vs. AVPR review yesterday about the military doing what they want to do and not listening to reason. Very much here. They try to tell them, hey, don't do that. It's going to make it worse. They don't care. They tried to, they sent their people in to freeze it because they came up with that idea, and they said, okay, we'll give you this much time. And the military decide to send their people in at fucking night. And the general is warned against it. He doesn't care. They're like, sir, should we wait today? No, do it now! That's what he said. Do it now. Get it done with. You fucking idiot. Of course they're gonna die. And they are. They get there. Everyone's been massacred. They're all dead because they try to do it at night. But the cooling thing is down there. So Sheila and the sheriff, they have to go down. And this leads to one of my favorite lines. When they, when they fall, and the sheriff goes, oh, we landed in water. And Sheila says, that's guano. And the sheriff goes, oh, I am not chest high, I'm not chest deep in batshit. And Sheila's like, I'm afraid you are, Sheriff. I know that. I don't think it would be like, I always thought bat guano was like sticky, not liquid like that, but I guess they try to show us it's like that because there's a shit ton of bats in there. And then we get to another ridiculous thing. So, well, they're trying to set up this cooling thing so they can freeze the bats, because once they freeze the bats, they'll go to sleep and then they'll freeze to death. So they won't be able to move. Well, Sheriff gets attacked by a bat, right? And as soon as he gets attacked, Sheila disappears. Like, they're both right there. He gets attacked by the bat. He's flinging around. Sheila's gone. She's not in the shot. She's gone. It's like they said, okay, we just want to shoot him. But it makes no sense. She was gone. I'm sitting there going, why isn't she helping him? He's I'm like, do something, bitch! She's not even in the shot. She just disappeared. Until the end part where she shows up. And he's like, shoot it! Shoot it! And I'm like... And I had Jurassic Park flashbacks. Shoot her! Shoot her! Shot the bat. And then there's explosions. Which... Okay. So their big thing was they can't blow it up or the bats will scatter. But their big plan is to turn on the coolant, then blow out the entrances, which cause an explosion. Also, a fucking fire starts in the cave. Yet, they say that the coolant worked. What? There was a fire in there. How strong has that coolant gotta be to stop a fucking fire? Because if the fire starts, I'm like, oh, it's not gonna work. The coolant's not gonna work when there's a fire blazing. And they're like, the coolant's working. I'm like, what? How? There was a fire in there. How the hell is it? How the hell does a coolant work? There's a fire. Is it that strong to extinguish a fire like that? I don't think so. I'm no expert, I guess it could, but I was like, what? And then, to add on to that, to close the cave, they cause an explosion, which is going to cause more fire and more heat. And yet, coolant's working. Okay, you just want to end the movie. Because there are several problems with this. And then they call the military and say, hey, we got it, you can go now. Everything is okay here now. Thank you. How are you? That was a conversation anyway. We got company. No, wait, that's Star Wars. That's the conversation anyway. No, I'm just saying, it seemed like the very end, just like, there was so much that could have continued with this. And there was a fire in the cave. The explosion would have caused more heat to go in there. And yet, the coolant is just working. And to me, it seems like, oh, we just wanted to end the movie. They even tried to give us a little, like, one of the bats survived, and then it gets run over by a truck. I do gotta say that the creature effects in this are pretty good. Now, when they go up close on the bat, You can tell it's a prop, but it's not bad for a prop. Some of the bat flying things during the night, I think it's good. But when you get to where it's sunrise or sunset and you see some bats flying around, it's like, and I would doubt that the bats would even be flying at that point, but who knows. The climax is during the day, which I understand but I always thought the climax would be at night. But it's during the day, and I'm like, why is it during the day? And then I thought about it. Well, if they're during the night, they're going to get attacked by the bats. If they're during the day, not that it matters because the bats wake up anyway. But, yeah, because they kill the one bat, and it wakes up the other ones. And, because they find a fucking gun in a cave, echoes, hey? And then the other ones wake up, and then they got to run out of there. And they get out, and they blow the thing up, which, like I said, it seems like it should be more complicated than just, it just blew up the entrances and exits to the caves. And that's it. There's no residual fires, there's no residual heat in there that could make them... Now, sure, you could say, it won't matter. They got the coolant on, it's going to cool it. Eventually, there's no way out for the bats to get out. So eventually, they're going to die. How much coolant do they have? Is it going to last long enough? See, there's questions you got to ask. But because they wanted to finish the movie up like that, they don't. And there's just so much left to question, like, would it work? Like I said, there was fires in there. It just doesn't make any sense. But, that aside, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was one of your hokey creature feature films that are actually pretty good. Eventually, I'm going to have to get the DVD because this was pretty good. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. The cast was great. Maybe a little take over the world part that didn't really go anywhere. Because, taken out of there. Other than that, pretty good. 8 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on bats? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I promise I'll give you a hint for Flashback Friday tomorrow. Nope. You got the touch. You got the power.